Hi crafting friends, and welcome to Creative Moments by G. I'm Georgia and we are so happy that you're here today. We have a very special background that we want to share with you. Do you have crayons? Now, we know you probably do. Well, Maudie and I have come up with a creative way to use those crayons so that you can create an adorable background for your cards. So let's head down to the crafting table and let's get started. The first thing that you will need to create this beautiful background is a grater. Do you have a grater that you were going to throw away because maybe you collected too many? I know I did. So here's a grater that I've just moved over to the craft room so I could use it. Now, you're just going to take a piece of paper that you will use for the mat on your card, and we are going to pick 2 crayons. Any crayons that you want. Now, I've decided to go ahead and use purple and orange. Now, to make sure that you don't get paper in your background, go ahead and just tear that off down just a little bit, because it does take some scraping against that grater to get exactly the amount that you want. So let's just go ahead, and we used the small one, but of course if you were maybe making a scrapbook page, you might want to use this big one here. Just going to get some of those shavings on our paper. Okay, I think that's enough of the orange. Now we're going to bring in our purple. And we did this yesterday, and our purple ended up looking blue. But it was so pretty that I want to go ahead and use the purple again. So once again, you just decide how much you need. And this would be so fun to do with your kids or your grandkids. They would love this. Need a little bit more in the middle. Okay, and now the magic begins. Take your wax paper, put it down over your piece of paper, and now we have set our iron between silk and satin so that it's very light, and we are just going to hold it down on our paper just for a little bit. Now, before we have the great reveal, if you wanted to smear these more and make it look even more like watercolor, you could do that. You could put your iron down and then kind of drag it. You just need to play with it and see all the different backgrounds you can make. Now look at that. It looks almost like you splattered it, but it's crayons. Now I'm going to go ahead and move this piece of paper out of the way. Bring in a clean sheet to work with. Now this is a full background. I want to show you what some other backgrounds might look like. This one, we actually laid some strips down and created this spot for a diagonal sentiment. And we went ahead and used our crayons. And now we have simply stamped a strip. We are going to cut this, just snip it off. And look at that beautiful card cover you have. So you have this style. Something else we did is we simply put a Post-it note on our mat, and then we put our shavings around, and now we have this one. So we can simply just put some tape on the back of it. Put a stamp on the front, and look at that. You have another card cover. Stay with us to the end. We have 3 more ready-made cards to show you. But let's go ahead and make a card that we wanted to share with you today. Now, we went ahead and we made this background very similar to the other one. So pretty. I'm going to move this one aside. We're going to bring in our base card, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And we're going to go ahead and just glue this down. Okay, the next thing we want to do is we just cut a strip of paper and we're just putting it right in the middle. So we're going to adhere that to our card. Now we have decided to go ahead and use Art Gallery to pick up these beautiful flowers that uses a two-step process. So we're going to go ahead and just stamp those, and we're using Blueberry Bushel and Bermuda Bay. Then we're going to come in with our darker color, line it up, and stamp that down. Oh, look at that. Now we're going to clean these off, and we have one more color that we want to create. For this flower, we're going to use pumpkin pie and a red. We're using Lovely Lipstick, but you can use a Real Red or Poppy Parade. Once again, we're going with our light color. We're going to pick up our darker color. And look at those beautiful colors. Now we're going to cut those out to use our crayon background and add these to the front. Here's the flowers that we cut out, and we also use that stamp set to stamp our sentiment and use the die cut to cut out that cute little sentiment and the leaves. Now I want to show you what I did to the leaves to give these kind of a 3D dimension. This is another great tip. We ran them through an embossing folder just to give them some added dimension. Aren't those lovely? So now we're just ready to put this together. So we are going to adhere our flowers. Okay, and we're going to set them up on dimensionals. So I'm going to go ahead and put a dimensional behind this and get it right where I want it, right at the top of the card. And I'm going to put 2 dimensionals on this. Just slip it right under. I'm going to cover up that stem with this other leaf. And now we will put our sentiment right here. Now we need to go ahead and put our mat on the inside so that we can write our message. Look at this beautiful card. Look at the crayons that we used as our background. We were able to pick up the colors through the use of our ink pads. Open it up. You can put another message in here. Now remember I said I was going to show you some other cards we made. Look at this fun card. We went ahead and we used black and pink and yellow crayons to go ahead and melt and create our background. We used that cute little hen, let's celebrate you, and when you open it up, happy birthday. Now look at this one. This one we just used a black crayon, heated it up for our background, and then did that beautiful flower on the front. Open it up, plenty of room for your sentiment. And finally, look at our beautiful sunflower. Oh my goodness, we used our purple, oranges, and just created such a beautiful background using crayons. Who would have thought you could use crayons, right? Now, something else we did very creative on this sunflower. We didn't want to color it with a sparkly pen, and we didn't want it to be real thick. So we used some cheap, clear fingernail polish just to give it a little bit of shine and also make it just a little thicker, so it's a little sturdier on the front of your card. Came out so pretty. And there you have our cards. Well, what do you think about that technique for backgrounds? We loved it. You can work with this with your grandkids, your children. They would have a blast as well. Or you can just make some beautiful cards for your family and friends. We hope that you enjoyed this. Please take time to subscribe and share our video. And remember, go out, be safe, be healthy, be creative in your crafting, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.